Hey YouTube, hey Red Devils. Today's video I want to talk about Mason Greenwood and what Man United should or shouldn't do with him. Now please be respectful in the comments on this video. Obviously it's quite a serious subject that we are going to be touching on. So please be respectful. And what I will do, I will go through kind of the facts as I see them. And at the end of the video, I will give my opinion. Obviously, if you can like this video, I'm much appreciated. If you can subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. It can help me grow it. But now let's get into it. So, Mason Greenwood. Well, it's an interesting one. So to begin with, I won't even say by a court of law, because he was never actually convicted or prosecuted or arrested properly for anything. He was arrested, but he didn't face any form of conviction. Case was dropped, so to the letter of the law, he's technically not done anything wrong. Certainly a lot of us have heard the audio, which wasn't nice. I don't want to go into it too much, obviously, but it wasn't nice. And you could argue that perhaps Manchester United have a duty of care for him, that he's obviously got some form of issues, and he should be educated and rehabilitated, etc., etc., instead of just being abandoned. So this is another way to look at it. It's probably something that you would guess has been going on, or getting to the point of what happened, for a while, and you would have hoped that somebody in the club would have seen something. I remember that there was an incident on the international football with England, where him and Phil Foden got up to something. I think what Mason did was far worse. I remember he got sent home. There was something involving some girls. Can't remember exactly, and I don't know if it fully came out. I'm not saying he committed a crime or anything like that, but I don't think he did his reputation much good. So there was certainly signs there, and you would imagine there was other signs. So you'd have hoped somebody at the club had picked up on it. Maybe this is where we miss Sir Alex, because you know how phenomenally good he was at noticing these things, spotting these things, and doing something about these things. Also, let's face it, he is a phenomenally talented footballer. Man United fans and all fans which are talking about this, would they be saying the same if he was somebody that was nowhere near the first team? Possibly, possibly not. But the fact is, he is a phenomenal footballer. He's, you could argue, a generational talent. He is on loan, and by all accounts has got his head down, knuckling down, and just getting on with the game, playing well as well. He's back with his partner, I believe, and they might be expecting a baby. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. You can read into that what you may. So there's sort of lots of reasons why perhaps, you know, he should be allowed to play for the club again, because he's technically, by the letter of law, not done anything wrong, and for everything else we just mentioned. On the flip side, for those of you who have heard the audio, and I'm a dad myself, I'm a dad to a daughter, it's quite horrific to listen to. It's just not right. You can't paint it in any other way. Regardless of whether he was committed of a crime or not, that audio is not right. It doesn't set a good example for anybody. Men and women, or whoever, should be treated with respect, not that way. So that's obviously horrific. I would imagine it'd be hard for the Manchester United's women's team, and men's team as well. In fairness, there'll be players within the camp that won't like it, won't agree with it. Also, for the supporters, again, men, women, old and young, it will be very difficult for some of those to accept what they heard, regardless of how talented he is. So they're kind of the facts as you see it. So to summarise, he didn't get convicted of anything. He's back with the girlfriend. I think they're expecting a baby. He's knuckled down. There doesn't seem to have been or any reports of any issues in Spain. He's playing very well. The club, really, do they owe a duty of care? Should this been spotted earlier, etc., etc.? At the same time, you've heard the audio. The audio is horrific. So they're kind of the facts. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I will give my opinion, which I'm about to give now. And my opinion is, I don't think he should play for the club ever again. I don't think you can excuse what he's done, in my opinion. Again, I'm a dad to a daughter, so perhaps it rings home slightly more with me than others. But I don't think it's good enough. And I think, let alone anything else, it's a massive distraction for the club and the manager. So whether that's Ten Hag or whoever else, it's a huge distraction for them. You can imagine every single press conference they'll be asked, what's this about Mason? What's that about Mason? Has he been doing this? What's it like? You'll have issues in the stadium from other fans probably chanting some very horrible things. It damages the brand. It could potentially stop the women's team growing. You might not want to see the top women's player join the women's team. Again, damaging the brand. And it could just become a little bit of an issue that whenever you're playing, that it's not about the other 10 players on the pitch, that it solely becomes about Mason Greenwood. As phenomenal he is, and he is a phenomenal player, he's a phenomenal talent, the club is bigger than Mason Greenwood, in my opinion. And I think there's just too many reasons, for me, why he shouldn't play again. I mean, it's more than likely he will be sold abroad. But even for whatever reason, if another club in this country wanted to buy him, I would still sell him, even if it's someone in this country. I don't think, with what's gone on, with what's happened, with everything that could happen, that it's a good idea for Manchester United to keep the player. I would sell him. I'd move him on. You can probably get some decent money for him. Homegrown player, so it can go fully into financial fair play. But that shouldn't be the reason anyway. Like I said, for what he's done, I wouldn't keep him. I don't think it's a very good idea. But that's it. That's my opinions. I'd like to hear your opinions. If you could comment below. But like I said, please be kind. It's a very sensitive subject. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Glory, glory, Man United.